Okay, Madam VPPR, would you start our slideshow, our recording, please?
Yes.
And just let me know when we're recording.
We're recording.
All righty. Welcome to Competitive Communicators, everyone, where you only compete with yourself. We're still celebrating our 2nd anniversary this month, and it's a pleasure to have you all. We just want to do a little bit of housekeeping and show you, those of you who are new, some controls. If you look down at the bottom of your screen toward the bottom left, you will see an unmute button and a microphone icon, and you can mute and unmute your microphone. If you're not speaking, please leave your microphone on mute. Next, start video. You can turn your camera on and off with the start and stop video button. Please click the stop video button when you need to take a break from the meeting, take a bathroom break, eating snacks, or you have to answer your phone. Next, you see the chat button, which is very, very helpful. Please use this to chat with everyone in the group, and you can just use the drop-down arrow to find a member. You can also chat individually, privately. And just a note, when you save the chat, you do that by clicking on the More button, which is to the right of the screen here, and it will only save your chat with your private messages, no one else's private messages. So you also will use this room to give critique to fellow speakers, and if you have any questions, one of our officers will be happy to help you. Our policy: by participating in our meeting, you agree that a recording will be available publicly on YouTube channel, our website, Facebook, and other public media. Again, welcome to Competitive Communicators, where you only compete with yourself. At this time, I would like to introduce our president, Tricia Grow. Please welcome her, everyone, by giving a hand wave. Woohoo! Welcome, Tricia.
Thank you so much, Sunny, and welcome to all our Toastmaster friends, whether you're members or returning guests. I see a lot of familiar faces, so welcome back. And thank you for celebrating our 2nd anniversary this whole entire month, or what's left of it, which is what, one day? Or in some cases might already be gone, depending where you are in the world. But we appreciate you being here. We'll take a minute and go around the room, in this case, the world. And I will ask you to introduce yourself shortly and tell what your weather in your part of the world was like today. I will start with William. William, will you please introduce yourself?
Madam President, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, my name is William Thomas. I am the Assistant Vice President for this club, and I've been a Toastmaster for 17 years. Weather in Florida is hot, hot, and more hot, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Kannan, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Kannan Sandara. I am from Baltimore, Maryland, which is closer to the nation capital. The climate today is good because compared to last week there was a heat wave. That's why I picked summer showers as the theme of today. It's relatively better. It is around 90 degrees. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. And Sunny.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. You caught me off guard. I was typing in the chat. It is wonderful to be here. I like to say that I am a Mississippi girl now living in a Mississippi world. I used to be a New York girl living in a Mississippi world. It's 82 degrees here, but it's been pretty stormy weather. But I like to say, if you can't find the sunshine, be the sunshine. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Gerard, would you please introduce yourself? Oops, you have to unmute.
Oops.
Hi,
Hi, everybody. My name is Sherrod. I'm presently in Smoky Mountains right now, which means it's a little bit cooler than the rest of the East Coast. So today was really nice, 75 degrees for the most part, which is perfect for me. And then we got a little thunderstorm running through for about an hour or so, which I love also. So all around good weather today. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Gerard. Cheryl, would you please introduce yourself?
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Sheryl Poirier. I am coming from Winnipeg, Manitoba. For those of you who are in the United States, I'm sorry, but I have to say it's 26 degrees Celsius here today. That is a lovely warm day, not too hot, not too cold, but I'm still glad I have air conditioning. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you. Dora, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Dora from Guangzhou. It's very hot here. Actually, half of the year here is summer. Yeah. Back to you, Miss President.
Thank you very much. And Isabel.
Hi, I'm Isabel from Ellicott City, Maryland. Well, today I just want to share a little bit experience with flat tire with you. I caught it really early today. I drove out and I had my window down, and I suddenly hear some noise. It was very subtle, but I caught it and I noticed it's become more frequent as I drive a little faster. So even though I really hate to stop, check the car, but I still decide to stop on the roadside and look at it. Then I found a bolt screw was in the middle of my tire. Gladly, I caught it early and I drove to a gas station, and a gentleman was able to fix it right away. Only cost me $15. I thought that was my lucky day. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Someday I'll have to tell you my exploding tire story, but we'll move on to Hariom.
Hello, everybody. This is Hariom from Jersey City. So I work in New York, and the weather was warm, pleasant, and it was pretty good, slightly humid, but as compared to the 6 months that we spent in New York freezing, it was a very pleasant day. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. And we have some returning guests. Chris, would you please introduce yourself?
All right, let's make sure the microphone works first. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm in Webb City, Missouri, where today we had a high of 87 degrees, 31 Celsius for those of you outside of America. Tonight it's going to be down to a balmy 67 degrees with no rain, so we're going to sleep with the window open. Currently it's about 84 here, which is 29 degrees, 85 here, 29 degrees Celsius. And in my climate controlled office is 75 degrees. For your local weather, check out weather.com.
I was going to say you should submit an application to your local weather station. You have that down pat.
Thank you. I used to work in radio.
Okay. Sound like it. And your lovely wife, Kimberly.
All righty. I can't top that. So basically, I'm here in Webb City, Missouri, and it's a very beautiful day. Normally, I'm actually a California girl, and normally during the summer, it'd be really super hot you'd have clouds around. Well, Missouri skies are clear, pretty and blue, and no clouds in sight. Back to you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. And our other roving Toastmaster, Adrienne.
Thank you, Madam President. I am Adrienne. I am in Eastern Washington, and I am your club Vice President of Membership. I am also grammarian and counter tonight for this meeting. And my weather here has been fairly warm, although I think it's a bit cool. I like hot weather. My husband doesn't. Tomato, whatever. Back to you, Mrs. President.
Thank you very much. Darren, would you please introduce yourself? Oops, yep, unmute.
Hi, President. My name is Darren, and I'm from Brisbane, Australia. It's not actually summer here, it's winter, but it's nice temperature. I think it's as warm as London in summer. I think it's about 22 degrees, 20 degrees now. In the early morning, it was about 10 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what it is in Fahrenheit, I'm sorry, but it's good weather, nice and warm. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much. And then I see we have a guest, Demi. Demi, would you like to introduce yourself? No? All right, well, we'll try again at the end of the meeting. For those of you who might not know, I am Trisha Groh. I live near Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and it was quite warm today. It was very, very warm, in the high 90s. It was very warm. Although, as Kannan said, last week it was even warmer. So I am happy that it wasn't quite as warm as last week. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, who will handle the rest of this meeting. And that is our multi-distinguished Toastmaster, Kannan Sandara. Please help me welcome Kannan.
Thank you, Madam President, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests. Today, I am going to use two computers because my home computer always fails at the right time. Luckily, today, I had my office computer, which is old but still working. So I'm going to use both. If I'm seeing like this or like that, please forgive me. The theme of today's meeting is summer showers. Last week, as I mentioned to you, in Baltimore, we had heat wave for around 4 days. The temperature was very high, over 100 degrees. It was saying feel like 110 or something like that. The people were desperately longing for the summer, for the rain. The same people who were expecting sunshine in February. The brief summer showers that we received after so many prayers and after 4 days reduced the heat wave a lot. One thing about summer showers, it moves very fast, but it gives relief to many people and make everyone happy. Like the summer showers, they need to be happy and make others happy. We will never be satisfied. Our wants will never be complete. Don't let the weather get you down. In some place, like in Australia, it is winter, and here it is summer. So don't worry about the weather. There is going to be sunshine. Fellow Toastmasters, I want to tell you one last thing. Let it be in our club or elsewhere. Take full advantage of any opportunity that comes in your way and make others happy and you be also happy. Now, I am going to start the meeting. Can I start the meeting alone? No, no way. To help me in this meeting, we have many role players. I want to introduce them first, and then we will ask our club coach to induct our club officers. First, what can we do without inspiration? To inspire us, we are going to welcome Gerard. Toastmaster Gerard, please take over and inspire us.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Hello, fellow Toastmaster. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory. The role for inspiration is to give a 30 quote and keep it about 30 seconds to get the meeting off on a nice positive start. Okay, so the quote I have for today is, when you do the right thing, you get the feeling of peace and serenity associated with it. So do it again and again. So I was looking for a quote with serenity in it, and I found this. And again, it's when you do the right thing, you get the feeling of peace and serenity associated with it. Do it again and again. So I really like that. And it's been the top of my mind lately, besides doing it for a moral reason, the right thing, which I like to believe in karma, and you do the right thing happens, that I've been delving into if my behavior is completely my own or programmed into me from society. And then that puts another layer on it. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster. President.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Do the right thing again and again. Thank you. We will do that. Next, I'm going to introduce our grammarian and accountant. She's going to fill two roles. Who's going to be our VP membership, Toastmaster Adrian. Please take the stage and welcome and explain your role.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kannan. As grammarian, I will look for various grammar and vocabulary throughout our entire meeting. Everyone involved. So I will also, as a counter, track how many uhs, ums, so's, likes, and those crutch filler words we like to use because we're not used to pausing or we're just so used to filling those. I will go ahead and track that for our entire meeting and then report at the end of the meeting both the vocabulary and tracking our filler word. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Madam Grammarian, do we have the word of the day?
Yes, we do. I sure can. And the great thing about Toastmasters is we're all here to support each other. And when you make a mistake, someone's helping us to do that. Mr. Toastmaster, I do have a word of the day, and it is attenuate. It is a verb. And the meaning is to reduce in force, value, amount, or degree. Weaken. To use in a sentence, as an example, when the walls built to attenuate the force of the water collapsed, the city flooded. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Can you please, the grammarian has put the word of the day in the chat. I would encourage everyone to use the word of the day, accentuate. Let me try that a couple of times also. As you rightly put it, we do make mistakes, and English is always my enemy. It is not coming to me fully. Our next role player for today is going to be our president, who is going to fill as a timer and also as a chat monitor. Madam President.
Thank you so much. My job is a timer to keep track of the time, as well as alert to the speakers as to where they are in their time allotments. For example, our speakers today have 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, they would receive a green card. At 6, yellow. And at 7, red. And then they would have 30 seconds to finish up. For our table topics, the goal is to speak for at least 1 minute, but you have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. At 1 minute, you'll receive green. You know that you reached your minimum time. At 1.5, yellow. And at 2, you'll receive red. And again, you would have 30 seconds to wrap up. Our evaluators have 2 to 3 minutes to speak. Again, at 2 minutes, they would receive green. At 2.5, yellow. And at 3, red. And they also would have 30 seconds to wrap up. Now my job as chat monitor is to keep an eye on the chat and look for any questions or comments and make a report at the end of the meeting. Back to you.
Thank you, Madam President. I think our body language monitor our Vice President Education still not arrived, so I will be helping in that role till he arrives. After that, he will take over. I think I have introduced all my role players. After saying that, now I am going to, our club has got officers to run the administration of the club. Today, our club coach, our club mentor, and past district director, and our distinguished Toastmaster, and my great friend, Sheryl Poirier from Canada, is going to install the club officers for the Toastmaster year 2019 and 2020. After all the officers are installed, then we will proceed with the usual speaking, listening, and thinking segments. First, let us all welcome Sheryl Poirier. And Sheryl, please take over, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Kannan. Let's just start with a moment for last year's executive, please. And I hope all their videos are on so we can see you. Last year, our Sergeant-at-Arms was Tricia Groh, the Treasurer, Kannan Sandara, Secretary, Matt Smittle, VP PR, Isabel Kaduri, VPM, Adrian Pearson, VPE, Sunny Fridge, and President Aaron Lung. Please wave. It's a little hard to take a bow, but we'd like to see you. Thank you so much. And I think we need to give them some applause because they worked very hard. Last year's executive, you are now discharged from all further duties and responsibilities as officers of the Competitive Communicators Club of 2018 and 2019. Next, I'd like to make sure all of those of you who are coming on as incoming executive, make sure your videos are on and be ready to be highlighted for the club. I'm about to install the officers of competitive communicators for 2019-2020 to help prepare them for the challenges that lie ahead. These officers have actually been working at their jobs since July 1st. Your collective challenge as club officers is to keep the club strong and dedicate yourselves to helping people from all walks of life to speak in an effective manner, to listen with sensitivity, and to think clearly. I will ask each officer to be pinned on the screen as I briefly describe the challenges he or she must meet and the responsibilities he or she must fulfill. First, our Sergeant-at-Arms. Our Sergeant-at-Arms is Sunny Fridge. Sunny is responsible for opening the online meeting room, sharing instructions for the meeting and its protocols, welcoming members and guests, pinning the videos of speakers, and preparing the poll for the end of the meeting. She will also introduce the president each week. Sunny, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
I will.
Thank you so much. Next, please pin the treasurer. Kannan Sandara. As treasurer, you are responsible for keeping clear and accurate financial records of club business and for seeing that the club remains financially stable. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much. Please pin our secretary. Rainey. Rainey Ding, as secretary, you're responsible for keeping clear and accurate records of club business, including brief meeting summaries, sharing correspondence, and ensuring the club exercises its right to vote, a duty shared with the club president. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much. Yes, she's going by Shiny now. I'm sorry. Our Vice President of Public Relations, please. As Vice President of Public Relations, Isabel Kaduri, you're responsible for contributing and coordinating to an active public relations and publicity program. You, of course, may use a team, as can any of our officers. Your job is vital to the growth and success of the club. Your efforts help to attract new members. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much. Next is the Vice President of Membership. Adrian Pearson. As Vice President of Membership, you're responsible for building membership and ensuring a strong membership base by helping members and maintaining a positive environment. Your efforts will contribute to the success of the club. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, our Vice President of Education, Aaron. Aaron Lung, as Vice President of Education, you're responsible for inspiring members to meet goals through planning and maintaining the programs through which we learn and advance. If you do your job well, the club will have satisfied members and will continue to grow. It is important to work with members to acknowledge their completion of official and unofficial educational milestones. If they so desire, it is also your responsibility to enter the completions with Toastmasters International. Aaron, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much, sir. And we need to keep the pin on Aaron because he is also our past president. Aaron, you have gained experience and knowledge as the past president. Your role in this one is to act as a mentor and historian to the current executive. Will you perform these other duties to the best of your ability as well?
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, our president, Tricia Grow. Having been elected to the president of the Competitive Communicators Club, Tricia Grow, you are now its Chief Executive Officer. You will be expected to preside at club meetings and also at all meetings of your executive committee. Along with the secretary, you are responsible to see that the club exercises its votes at the International Convention. It is your challenge to see that this club enables its members to achieve their goals. It is also your challenge to see that this club follows the mission and values outlined by Toastmasters International. Will you, Tricia Grow, accept this challenge and perform your duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will do my best.
Thank you so much. For all our members, please note that the club executive is a team within a team. And a team is more than just a collection of people. It can be a positive force rooted in feelings, thoughts, and actions of all members, with the common goal of achievement, sharing, and mutual support. As club members, work with our executive team, please, to create a healthy and dynamic club, a club of which everyone is proud. It is now my pleasure to declare these Toastmasters installed into the offices to which they have been elected. Will please help me applaud the new executive for 2019-2020. I have one more thing to say to our members. I'd like you all to turn on your microphones. The growth and development of the Toastmasters program in any club depends upon the actions of its leaders, but also on member support. As Toastmasters, do you pledge to individually and collectively stand by our executive and work with it throughout the coming year? Please say yes.
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 I will now turn the meeting to our president, Tricia Grow, for a few words. Tricia, the virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you.
Please unmute Tricia.
I thought I had, sorry. As I was saying, is my pleasure to lead this club onto the 2020 year. I can't believe we're going to be seeing the year 2020. Seems so far away, but yet here it is, almost upon us. I think that this year could be one of our greatest years. We are continuing to build our club. We're 2 years old. We have many more ahead of us. I would like to see each one of you aspire to whatever goals that you have. Let me know what I can do to assist you. And we as a club can help each other reach those goals. They're all attainable if you just take one step at a time. I'll now return the meeting back to our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam President. When I introduced all the role players, I did not introduce the body language monitor. Today's body language monitor is going to be our past president and current BPE, Aaron Long. Aaron, can you please explain your role, please?
So as my name implies, I'm actually observing everyone's body. No, I mean body on the screen, as in how you actually display your gestures, and most importantly, in how we interact with each other with hand gestures, connections, and stuff. So I will be observing everyone's virtual lectern, and I will be giving some report at the end of the meeting. Back to you.
Thank you, Aaron, Toastmaster Aaron. Every Toastmaster meeting has got 3 segments. First, better speaking segment, then better thinking segment, then better listening segment. First, we are going to jump into the better speaking segments. Today, we are going to listen to 2 great speeches from our Toastmasters. First, I'm going to introduce our Toastmaster, Isabel Kadori. Isabel Kadori is working on innovative planning part level 5. Wow. High performance leadership project. This is her first speech for the project. Isabel sees the importance of having young people practice public speaking. She teamed with other Toastmasters and completed a youth leadership program recently. Now, the same team is planning for a youth gavel club. She wants to share her vision and experience in youth leadership development. I am also very eager to listen to her speech. Let us all welcome Toastmaster Isabel Kadori to give her speech, and her speech will be evaluated by Hariom Tatsat. Isabel, the floor is yours.
Ththank you. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and esteemed guests. Have you thought of promoting public speaking among young people? I'm talking about people just graduated from elementary school. I would like to share with you my recent journey. I have a PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to share my screen. So it all started when I joined the Toastmaster Club, a brick and mortar Toastmaster Club about 5 years ago. I thought that public speaking is a great idea and we should introduce it early to the young people. I thought about my daughter. I thought if I was at my daughter's age and I learned public speaking, my life would be so different. So I had that idea 5 years ago. I will someday introduce my daughter to public speaking. First, I thought I have to become an excellent speaker first. However, 5 years later, I'm still struggling to become a good speaker. And my daughter is already turned 11. I'm still far away from becoming a good speaker. What should I do? I was contemplating how should I start a youth gavel club while I need to recruit other people. And excuse me. So by that time, I already gained some experience as a club officer. I've been VP of membership, VP of education, and VP PR. I also organized the community outreach seminars. Early this year, I visited a youth gavel club, and I was really inspired by those students. They are high school students. They grow from just the average student to be a great speaker in a matter of just 2 or 3 years. So I shared my thoughts about starting a youth gavel club for middle school students with the president and the VPM of Why Not Toastmaster Club. And we really hit off. We all have children about middle school age, and we decided to start our own youth club. I shared this idea with our online club members. I had 2 speeches early on, and I received feedback from fellow club members. And from the feedback, I decided it would be a good idea to do a youth leadership program first, and then take the experience from youth leadership program, and then start a gavel club. Here's where am I. I have a guidance committee. From my guidance committee, my mentor Sunny Fridge, and President Tricia Grow, and DTM Kannan Sandara. I received many great advice and guidance from my guidance committee. And during last couple of months, I also meet some important people. I have to mention Therese Currenta. Kannan introduced me to Therese, and Therese started a youth gavel club in Maryland area about 4 years ago. That's the club I visited. And before I started youth leadership program, I talked to Therese about my plan extensively, and Therese shared all her youth leadership planning document with me. It was a great help to in organizing my own youth leadership program. And another important person that contributed a lot into my youth leadership program, it was our District 18 Club Growth Director, Cynthia Williams. Cynthia visited our meeting about 5 times, and she has amazing ability to engage the students and make the student excited in learning. And another person I met was Distinguished Toastmaster Casey Hebrew. And she told me one thing. She said, if your program transforms just one student, it will be considered as a great success. I take this word to my heart. Here's a picture from the first meeting of the youth leadership program. Standing in the middle are 4 club officers, 4 youth leadership officers from left to right. The tall boy in the left is the president, then vice president, and secretary, and sergeant at arms. The one thing I was so impressed by the youth leadership program is so many students, they volunteer themselves in club election. Each position, we had not just 1 candidate, 2 candidates, we have 4 candidates, 4 students, and some of them ran for multiple positions. And some kids really afraid of public speaking. I want to show you a video clip. This girl is Anita. She's my daughter's best friend. as you see, Anita is really afraid of public speaking. And in the beginning of this program, we can barely hear what she talks. Here's another video. It was several meetings after, and I want you to see if Anita has been transformed a little bit.
What was your favorite vacation? Why? If you could visit any place in the world, where would it be? My favorite vacation around the beach, or like where I was around the world. And it was my first time creating this. And if I could visit any place in the world, I would go to
You see, Anita is still fidgeting in this video, but she already improved her voice projection a lot. And here's a message from our youth leadership program students.
Fellow students, Toastmasters, and speaking guests, and especially all youth leadership program contributors. We all really like this program from Toastmasters, and in these 8 weeks, we have been practicing all types of speaking things, like speaking in front of an audience, giving feedback to each other, and handling table topics. We were very nervous at first. Now we are very confident in ourselves in public speaking. In summary, we had a lot of fun and learned a lot. We look forward to the next public speaking workshop. Thank you. Thank you.
This is a poster made by my students, and they listed all the guest speakers. I also want to thank 2 of our guests from our club, Trisha Guru and Kannan Sandara. You drove really far away to meet our student and give an educational speech. I really appreciate that. And same. All in all, this is a rewarding experience. Some kids, we see many different kind of kids. Some kids are very active and enjoy the meeting a lot. They are not afraid of speaking at all, and others are still very shy. However, one thing I noticed is if we're not considering about whether they are afraid of speaking or not, actually their language skill, their language mechanics is not that different at this point. But what I would say, if the shy students always stay away from public speaking, and then the difference will become greater and greater. And we hope we will continue working on promote the public speaking among young people, and so the shy people will overcome their shyness in public speaking, and the kids enjoy speaking, develop even better skills. Well, back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Isabel. That was a great speech. And actually, I attended the election of the student officers. When we asked why you want to become the club president, I had 2 answers. I want to just quote for 30 seconds. One of the candidates said, I want to make the club great again. That is one. Another one said, I want to be the president because president does not have to do any duty. He can just sit and relax. That was the answer I liked a lot. Now I'm going to give 1 minute. I will ask the timer to give 1 minute so that other Toastmasters can send the feedback to Isabel through chat. Timer, please give me 1 minute. Thank you.
Time.
Thank you, Madam Timer. The next speaker is going to be past district director, blah, blah, blah. If I have to give all those things, I will have to complete a 5-minute speech. I'm going to say our club mentor, Sheryl Poirier. She is going to speak from presentation mastery, level 2, learning your style, effective body language. Sheryl Poirier, a member of Online Toastmaster Club for 6 years, Sheryl has observed and experienced differences between speaking and being evaluated online and in person. The delivery and the expectation for body language is one major difference both for speakers and evaluators. Yet most part evaluation forms are not easily adaptable to those differences. The purpose of this elective project is to deliver a speech that allows for the use of effective body language, which includes some of the following. One is eye contact. Second is body language. Without overacting. She meant me, I think, because I do that a lot. The speech is going to be 5 to 7 minutes. With her speech, taking it online, I'm going to welcome Sheryl Poirier, and her speech will be evaluated by Sunny Fridge, Toastmaster Sunny Fridge. Sheryl, welcome. Take the podium.
What I'm about to tell you is controversial. It implies that Toastmasters International did not consider online speakers or evaluators when they created the Pathways evaluation forms. I believe that what I have to say with my 6 years of online Toastmasters experience is important, and it will benefit all of the online speakers and their evaluators. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, as speakers and evaluators, how do you feel about body language online? Body language is, of course, defined as all nonverbal communication. It's incredibly complex. It includes things like stance, posture, movement, facial expression, eye contact, and of course, gestures. But the evaluation forms in the Toastmasters education program generally only have 2 categories for body language. One is eye contact, and the other one is gestures. Consider real-life conversations, and the direct opposite, TED Talks. Body language is plentiful in the former. It's natural, it comes comfortably, and it's completely discouraged in the latter with the exception of eye contact. Shouldn't Toastmasters fall somewhere in the middle? I strongly feel all speakers and evaluators will have an uphill battle with only those 2 categories to consider. And the problem is even greater when the speaker and the evaluator are not in the same room. Well, what can we online do? We can look for gestures and eye contact, of course we can, but may I suggest that we look at them a little bit differently and go beyond that. Let's review how eye contact differs online. In person, the conscientious speaker may move around the room, come closer to her audience, engage them with her physical presence. She's also quite likely to be turning her head to look at the audience. If they're up on a stage, maybe look down a little bit, look to the side. We don't do that online. Consider your local news anchors. When delivering the evening news, are they normally walking the stage or are they stationary? Do their entire body show or mostly just their upper body? Do they turn their heads to make you feel included? No, they look at the camera. In reality, we online only have this one way to make eye contact. The more we look into the camera, the more the audience is likely to stay engaged. And while you're at it, while making eye contact, how about facial expressions and head movements? Those are the most obvious body language we have. Personally, I just feel I'm seeing more of a person through these close-ups in this club than I do if I'm in person and someone is standing far more than a meter away. Now, gestures is that second category of body language. Oh, do you try to add gestures just because you feel the evaluator needs something to evaluate in that category? Or as an evaluator, are you sitting there staring, looking for gestures and missing everything else because you want to be able to give that speaker some credit? Oh, I feel that happens just far too much. And it's unnatural. Gestures without a real purpose related to the speech aren't worth it, in my humble opinion. And some gestures just simply attenuate your message if they're too distracting. For example, the ones where people move their hands very quickly and the camera on their computer or webcam can't keep up, or my computer can't download it fast enough. The other thing is, when they do them in front, the hands become unrealistically large. I find that distracting. Both of those things, fast movements and hands coming forward, would never be noticed in person. And they wouldn't be disturbing like they tend to disturb me when people do things like that. If gestures are important to your speech, and for some people they really are, or some topics, I recommend two things. First, move back. And in doing so, you sacrifice some of that eye contact, but then your gestures are more visible. The second thing to do, make sure they are purposeful, such as doing this that I just did. Now consider the weather reporters, also on your local TV studio. Their movements do help viewers. They may help them focus on the background, which is really a green screen with a map on it, to point out a particular area of some specific weather. That is purposeful movement. Now, world champion of public speaking, Darren Lacroix, delivered a workshop to us in January. In that presentation, he expressed the wish that Toastmasters would drop the word gestures. And by that, I think he meant stop emphasizing it. He's a world champion. He's an accredited speaker, a speech coach, and a professional speaker. So I think he knows what he's talking about. His words resonated with me. So here's what I want from my evaluators. For online eye contact, how much am I really looking at that camera? Also consider facial expressions and head movement as equally important body language. As to gestures, I suggest crossing off that word on the form and writing in body language. All the visible body language I do, does it enhance? It might be a gesture, it might not. Does it enhance the message? I know there are Toastmasters out there who will disagree and keep telling me to add gestures. I know I might be considered a total rebel, but what if we change the evaluation form? Would our evaluations of body language have more value? Fellow Toastmasters, we can make a difference by expanding our views. Here, we really have no choice but to focus on the camera for eye contact, but we can choose to look beyond gestures for all the rest. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Sheryl. That was a wonderful speech. I really understand, because sometimes I get the dinged for body gestures. I really understand what you're talking about, but that's a great speech. Let us give timer, Madam Timer, let us give 1 minute so that people can send the feedback to Sheryl.
Time.
Thank you, Madam Timer. Now we are going to move into the second segment of the meeting, better thinking session, where we are encouraged to think within a short time. To lead this session, I'm going to invite, I think she is the youngest Toastmaster in our club, Dora Lee. Please take the floor and lead us on the table topics.
Hi everyone, I'm Dora. The theme of our table topic today is summer. Yeah, I would like to share my screen with you guys. Can you see my screen now? Okay. Yeah, summer is the hottest season of it's the hottest season and the longest season here in Guangzhou. And what about in your city? For me, I will describe summer as hot and enthusiastic and full of laughter and relaxation. And how about you? I have prepared 4 topics today, and anyone you are interested can join and give a 2 minutes impromptu speech on the topic given. So who would like to be the first to share with us your story about summer?
William.
Oh, okay. Hi, William.
Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmaster, future Toastmasters.
Excuse me. Your topic is your favorite summer drink. Yeah, it's very hot. We always get thirsty and we sweat a lot. Share with us your favorite summer drink and the story.
Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and future Toastmasters. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, where you may be. My favorite drink is a drink called Sex on the Beach. The reason that's my favorite drink, it has tequila, it has all different kinds of spices in it. And those spices arouse my sensations and make me relax during a hot summer heat. In fact, earlier today, I had 2 sex on the beaches because it was just so hot and the heat was unbearable. And having a sex on the beach made me felt so good. It's one of my favorite drinks. My other favorite drink is a Jamaican toddy. Now, what I mean by Jamaican toddy, a Jamaican toddy is mixed up with different spices, fruit punch, a little bit of tequila, and a little bit of lime. But let me tell you, when you drink that, oh my God, you feel like I'm in, I'm on the beach, hearing the wind blowing back and forth. So either a Jamaican toddy or a sex on the beach are my two favorite drinks. Madam Table Topics Master. Back to you.
Thank you, William. I would like to have a try. So who would like to be the next? Sorry, I cannot see all of you here. I don't know. I will call Daring. Would you like to have a try? Yeah. We would like to hear a story about your summer holiday.
My summer holiday. My last summer holiday, I went to the Blue Mountains. That was not my last summer holiday, but a summer holiday a few years ago. I went to the Blue Mountains. That's in Sydney, New South Wales. It was warm weather. It was great weather, and we went there. And the club that I was in, a rock climbing club, they hired a house for 2 weeks. I was there for 1 week, and every day, except maybe most days, except for 1 or 2 rest days, we went climbing, rock climbing out in the Blue Mountains, and it was gorgeous weather. I don't have any pictures to show you at this stage, but it was very nice, and you could see the blue haze, which is from the eucalyptus trees. That the gas evaporating from it. The heat was attenuated though by the good house, so it was a bit reduced inside, but it was still a bit hot as well. So we went into a total of about 3 or 4 different areas called crags in rock climbing terminology. It was a wonderful day, wonderful 2 weeks. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Darren. And the next topic is unforgettable summer. Who would like to have a try? Isabel. Would you like to have a try, Isabel?
Excuse me, did you call me?
Yeah.
Would you please repeat your question?
Unforgettable summer.
Can you repeat your question?
Share with us a story about your unforgettable summer.
Okay, well, I just gonna talk about summer in general. I'm kind of person that's really afraid of hot weather. I feel when the weather is too hot, I feel like I'm sweat so much. I have difficulty to breathe. So in the summertime, I really enjoy staying at home where I can have the air conditioning. I still remember back days when I was in college. Actually, I studied college in China. Every summer, it was so hot and humid. When in the classroom, I always smell very strong sweat smell from every student. and I always feel like my brain was freeze. I couldn't work. All the summer is so unproductive, and I really enjoy the air conditioning. I think air conditioning is a great invention. It really benefits the human race. That's my view of summer. Back to you, Madam Table Topic Master. Hello, I have done my table topic speech.
Thank you, Isabel, for your sharing. Actually, I enjoy the air condition a lot. Same with you. I often stay at home during time and only go out at night to avoid the heat. So next one, Hariom, would you like to have a try? Hariom. Yeah.
Sure. So what's the question?
Yeah. It's about the summer shower. Share with us a story that you are your own sunshine, regardless of the weather, regardless of the situation.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. So talking about summer, I got married in summer. So I remember the exact date. It was 11th of May, and that was in India. So you can imagine how hot it was. And then we decided that, okay, I mentioned my wife, let's go for honeymoon in the winter time. We can move it to the winter time because this time in India, it would be very warm. And she was like, no, we need to go for honeymoon right now. So I couldn't help. It was not my decision. So we ended up going to Maldives, and Maldives is a place which is on the south side of India. And the weather was nice, everything was good, but we stayed there for like 4 or 5 days, and for 3 days, it was extremely hot weather. The temperature was close to 110, and I was asked to do all the water sports in that hot weather. So we did all kinds of water sports. We did water surfing and water scooter, scuba diving and whatnot. And when I came back, or when we came back, and I forgot to put all these anti-tan creams and all, and my shade was like 2 levels darker. So that is like one of my story of this summer. And there have been like a lot of experiences I had regarding the summer. So I've spent my time in different places of the world, in India, in Dubai, and in New York, and in California. And I would say the summer of Dubai is the worst summer. The temperature shoots up to close to 50 degrees Celsius, and it gets very warm. And here in New York, where I'm staying, it's pretty pleasant weather, especially as compared to Dubai or India. Back to you, table topic master.
Thank you, Hariom. Thank you for all of you share with us your stories in summer. William have a really nice dream in summer, and Hariom have a very good and memorable honeymoon in summer. And me and Isabel prefer to stay at home with air conditioning in summer. Summer is still here. Let's keep the mood. Let's keep on celebrating summer. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dora, our table topics master. I think this table topic session might attenuate any boredom if present. Having said that, now we are going to jump into the final session of the meeting, final segment of the meeting, that is going to be the better listening session. To lead this session, I'm going to invite our seasoned Toastmaster who has been in the Toastmaster for 19 years, I think, if I'm right. And to lead the session, William, please take over. William, over to you.
Thank you, Kannan. 17 years, but almost 19 years. But anyway, it is my job as your general evaluator to introduce the evaluators and to give a brief summary of the meeting today. So without further ado, we already had our timing requirement earlier. Our give it the timing requirement earlier for evaluations. So our first evaluator, please come to the stage.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. So first of all, so my dear Toastmaster guest, and especially Isabel, first of all, great round of applause for the great initiative that you're taking, bringing Toastmaster to the kids. I would like to congratulate you for this great initiative. So everybody can all of us give a great round of applause? Amazing. So as a person whose second language is English, I would totally relate to it, because if I had this Toastmaster kind of exposure as a kid, my public speaking would have been slightly better or much better as compared to what it is now. So I would say it's a great initiative. Now, talking about your speech, some of the positive points in the beginning, and you started with a question. So that is a very good starting point. When you're starting with a question, it makes audience think that what you're going to speak. Then your speech has good flow. So there was this starting point where you mentioned that what was the genesis of your idea? How did you think about starting the Toastmaster for kids? And you mentioned about your daughter, that you saw the improvement in your daughter. And that was a very good starting point. And then you mentioned about all the steps that you took to start this Toastmaster Club. So you mentioned about the people you met, and you went into so much of detail about each and every person you met, and how did you take what were the different steps that you took for starting this Toastmaster Club. In the end, you shared this picture of the kids. You also shared some videos of the kids who were nervous before, and then they improved when they went to the Toastmaster. So that was kind of appealing. And even the conclusion, the end that you did, the picture that you showed was good. And it gave, again, a good picture of how did you bring the change and what was the impact. Now, coming to some of the things that you could have improved, I would say, because it was a great initiative that you took, you could have been more enthusiastic. As in, you should have mentioned that, yeah, there were a lot of kids who were willing to learn and they improved, something like this. And you could have added some more vocal variety to your speech, just in order to add more enthusiasm. And I felt that the little bit of hand gesture that was missing, maybe because there was this slideshow that you were showing, but on the side I was watching you, and there might be some more hand gestures. And there were a couple of times when there was this technical glitch and you took some abrupt pauses, which kind of felt awkward. And finally, I would say that in terms of the content, there was so much of detail about the people that you met. You could have mentioned about the steps or the ideas that you presented to the people to improve or to bring this Toastmaster for kids. But overall, it was a great speech. Overall, it was a great initiative. I would like to end it with a quote, that be the change you want to see in the world. And that is what you have highlighted. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you. Can I have our second evaluator come up, who I believe is our Sergeant at Arms, former Vice President of Education, Sonny Fridge. Take it away, Sonny.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and especially Sheryl Poirier. I'm going to move my just a little bit so I can see Sheryl. I'm looking for Sheryl so I can talk to her. Sheryl, can't find Sheryl, but Sheryl, wherever you are, this evaluation is for you. You delivered a well-organized speech. You did an excellent job of explaining the differences and effectiveness of body language, gestures, and eye contact for speakers using an online platform. The purpose of this project was to deliver your speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, and you did that well. You used your shoulders You nodded your head. I loved how you demonstrated the effectiveness of eye contact by comparing it with those of a newscaster's delivery. You used the word of the day, attenuate. And what we learned from you today is how to attenuate unnecessary body language and gestures. You gave solutions. Bravo. You had a well-organized speech, and you did that by giving us solutions. You also brought in world-class speakers' suggestions that backed up your opinion. A little more nonverbal communication is what you could have done to maybe challenge yourself, to do a little bit better. Maybe just saying nothing for a moment by pausing. Perhaps you could have waited a few moments, but I love the way that you did your gestures. You did it intentionally. Oftentimes we do not do that, and you talked about that to us. One other thing to challenge yourself. Your internet seems to have a little bit of jet lag or camera lag, and when you talk, your words seem to come out afterward. I would just challenge you to check your internet connection and see if there's anything that can be done so that you would be able to have that type of communication that would be better, or rather easier, for us to enjoy that great presentation that you did for us. And real quickly, what I'd like to add is I know that the online evaluations also gave me some information to test you on. Eye contact. Again, you effectively used eye contact to engage this audience, and you told us how to do it by looking straight into the camera, because we will engage with you more. Gestures, to me today, you excelled, you used them effectively. And the audience, I believe, was aware of you because we were enthralled. We wanted to see what you were going to do next or what not to do next. You had a great comfort level, Sheryl, and you engaged the audience with well-organized content, and that's what we want to have. Someone that we can listen to. We followed along with you. So the only thing I would also tell you to do more of is to check your connection, and I look forward to testing out some of your solutions, because I actually agree with you. I think that we possibly can eliminate unnecessary gestures by moving back. I love that suggestion. And as they say in the broadcast world, stay tuned. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, evaluators. Can I have the body language monitor report?
That's a bit fast. Hi. So my role as a body language is evaluating people. Please, if you don't mind, spotlight me. Yeah, thank you very much on that. So for the reports of the body language, if you observe everyone's today, there are a couple of things that I really love to agree with Sheryl on, a couple of tips on how to position yourself even better than before, because gesture is actually just a tool. A tool is only as effective as possible when used well or displayed well. So Sheryl actually demonstrated a very great example of positioning yourself very, very far away, just like I'm just doing the demonstration right now. And then two, you can actually, even if you sacrifice your eye contact, you just need to look at them without the reflections. Sometimes the glasses may be serving as a reflection if you have strong lights. One of the challenge for today would be Sunny. Sunny has a great background display, but her eyes, her glasses actually reflect the lights. If she removed the glass to show her charming eyes, basically that actually kind of electrify everyone, and we will not be attenuate into lack of eye contact. So that will be one challenge for Sunny. I love about the part whereby Darren actually has a very great webcam, because he was actually showing and testing his hands along Sheryl's speech, and then it actually doesn't fizzle just like what I'm doing right now. I can see shadows on my webcam. I need to improve, and I need to invest more money in Toastmasters. But then that was a really, really great job by Darren to show the quality of webcam can affect the display of videos there. I love about the lightings actually by Dora just now. Uh, Her background was very simple and then is very clear. We can see her lovely face as well. Great job on that display part. A few other people like Gerard. Gerard is always a good demonstration of body language because although he's at the corner not talking, but the thing is, if you observe his screen very carefully, he's actually positioned even in different backgrounds. He knows how to spotlight himself very well. The lightings are very warm. We can still see his face, his expression, etc. So that was a really great job of interacting with others because if we talk about gestures and eye contact, the first element that actually comes to my mind would be yourself, you as the two. You are actually the visual prop of yourself. So if you are actually presenting yourself in a very nice way, that is actually a form of gestures. So for everyone else, I love the display. The only challenges would be William. Although he's my general evaluator, I still have to comment on that part. The lightings can be slightly warmer because it's a bit dark at the background. I know it's very late, or maybe there are some kids around there. I don't know, somewhere far away, so you do not want to disrupt them. But then warm colors will actually bring us closer to you as well. So that's my evaluation as a body language. I'll pass the stage back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Bilanguage Monitor. Madam Chat Monitor, your report.
Thank you. Would you like me to give both my reports?
Please.
Okay. As far as Chat Monitor, I appreciate everyone. I saw many comments on the speakers and reminders for some of us to unmute and asking about the timing. So I didn't see any questions, but it was a very lively chat. Thank you all for giving comments to our speakers. It's always well received. As far as our timing this evening, Isabel spoke for 10 minutes and 50 seconds. Sheryl, 7 minutes and 24 seconds. Our table topics, William spoke for 1 minute 30 seconds. Darren, 1 minute 24 seconds. Isabel, 55 seconds. And Hariom, 2 minutes. And our evaluators, Hariom spoke for 3 minutes and 9 seconds. And Sunny, 3 minutes and 16 seconds. And that is the end of both of my reports.
Thank you, Madam Timer and Chat Monitor. Madam Odd Counter and Grammarian, please give us your report.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. First, I'm going to start with Grammarian and the word of the day. We had 4 people that used the word of the day, attenuate. I'm thinking that was not a really good word to choose, but I chose it anyways. And part of the Grammarian, I did find Hariom. I really liked your phrase when you said during your evaluation to Isabel, what was the genesis of your club? Perfect. That was great usage of your words. And Sunny, I really liked at the end of your evaluation how you said stay tuned. Just neat. Moving on to our filler words. Kannan, you had 1 Darren, you had 8 ahs, 5 ums. Aaron, you had 13 ahs. Gerard, you had 4 ahs and 2 so's. Trisha, you had 1 1 Isabel, you had 10 ahs and 5 ums and 3 buts. William, you had 2 ahs, 1 so. Dora, you had 3 ahs, 4 ums. Hariom, you had 11 ahs, 1 so. And as we continue to build our public speaking skills, we will attenuate our filler words. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Okay, so I will be giving my report. We started on time, great table topics. The Toastmaster had control of the whole entire meeting. The evaluators did an awesome job, I felt. They gave some improvements for the people to improve their next speeches and some praise for what they did well. Without further ado, I hand over control of the meeting back to our Toastmaster Day, distinguished Toastmaster Kannan Sandara. Toastmaster Sandara, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you all the Toastmasters for an excellent meeting. I appreciate. I am going to tell one thing. Please utilize every opportunity you have and please sign up for the roles. Otherwise, VP Education will have an issue to allocate the roles. Okay, please take the roles. Agenda is open for I think at least 4 or 5 weeks, 4 or 5 club meetings. Having said that, I'm going to return the control to our Madam President Tricia. Madam, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we conclude the meeting, I would first ask our returning guests, we're so happy to see them again, Chris and Kimberly, if you have any thoughts that you would like to share. It looks like you're trying to speak, Chris, but I don't hear you.
All right, let's try that. Okay, you should be able to hear me now.
Yes.
Okay, great. Kim, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay, awesome. Great meeting. Really enjoyed it. It was very well ran, well done. The suggestion I have, and I don't know if I'm full screen or not here. I think I have my wrong screen up, but I want to show something here. I'm going to try to get in frame. At the end of my microphone cord, there is a little knob that allows me to adjust the volume that I can listen to and my mic volume as well. If you do not have this on one of your devices and your mic is too loud, in the lower left-hand corner of Zoom, if you're on a computer, is the microphone thing. And if you right-click on that, down there, you will see something that says, let me look down here, audio settings. And in there, you can adjust your microphone volume. Otherwise, it was great, and I think it was William. Your mic is a little bit loud. I know it was mentioned earlier, and thank you for cleaning out the earwax tonight. Back to you.
Thank you. And did you have anything you would like to add, Kimberly?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the club, and I really enjoyed the time that we got to spend tonight with you guys. And so hopefully get rid of all my and-ums.
Yes, well, we welcome you back, and our current Vice President of Membership, if you would like to have more information, please adjust her on the chat. This is Adrian, our Vice President of Membership. This lovely lady here. She'd be glad to answer any questions you have about joining our club. We would love to have you again as guests, but even more so as members. And then a friendly reminder to all my executive team, all the officers, next week, next Tuesday, we're having our first executive club meeting. If you can make it an hour before the club would normally meet, which would be 7 p.m. my time, and New York time, I can send an email with the time zone converter for the rest of my team. I have also sent out an email asking you for feedback from you as to what you would like to do this year for the club. And I will also be sending out an email to the club. I see Sunny had already left about our votes for the upcoming conference, Toastmasters Conference Business Meeting in Denver. Myself and Sunny would have votes, and I would like to ask from the club your thoughts on how we would like to vote as a club, since I will be attending and Sunny will be attending, and perhaps someone else from our club that I am not aware of is attending. Any one of us can carry the votes of the club. So please let me know, one, when I send the email, if you're planning on attending, please let me know so we can meet up and take a picture. And 2, when I send the survey out, what you feel on the items up for voting, what your take on, how you would like us to vote. And I will correlate those with Sunny, and together we will make the votes as close to what the club wishes to do. At this point, I will ask the CPR to stop recording and open up the chat room to ask